This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. It is cold in many parts of the country, so today we're going to do a warm-up. But it's not what you're thinking. It involves creativity, inspiration, and so much more. She's going to explain all about that in just a moment. She is an amazing art therapist who inspires you to be creative and then also sees in what you create the inside of you, what's actually emotionally coming out within that. We take it for granted. You know, we draw something, we create something, we paint something. Even if you're painting a room, I believe there's spackling a wall. I think there's creativity involved in that. I got to tell you, I love spackling. People hate it. I love it because for me, it's like an art project. What's coming from that? Barbara Robertson, our professional of the year, is going to warm us up. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for that intro, Steve. Although I do have to clarify one thing. When I look at someone else's art, it's not like I'm looking in a crystal ball and I can see all their innermost secrets. The most I can see might be a few things to ask questions about. And that's one of the things that is part and parcel of a training as an art therapist, is not to overstep how much any one observer can know about a work of expressive art. So it's always a collaboration with the person who created the image.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for the clarification. It's not like you're a psychic, intuitive to the point where you can look at a line drawing and say, oh, well, hey, you know, you lost your job. You're feeling down about your dog being sick. And no, none of that.
Yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like that. And it's not like, reading tarot cards.
Right.
So for warm-ups, what warm-ups can do for someone who wants to have a creative experience is, well, the warm-ups that I've gotten most comfortable using are images that I've culled from newspapers, magazines, online, postcards, wherever I can find something that looks maybe a little like there's a little mystery there. So I'll give you an example of this one. It's actually shadows of 5 people against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And they're standing on the ground. There's a little sort of hazy line. It looks like a shadow of grass. And then this looks like either water or snow, but it's reflective. So down here, you can see also the inverse of their shadows on the ground.
I'm not going to say anything until you tell me I should, but are we interpreting this? Are we describing what vibe we get?
Yeah, maybe describe the vibe you get. Yeah, I wouldn't so much think of it as interpreting. It's just like, what is the energy in that image?
Sure.
Is there more than one kind of energy? What do you see?
I see fun, playfulness, freedom, lighthearted, individuality. They could be listening to music. They're just kind of, well, let's not mess around, have fun with it. Very free, very, very, very positive. And I don't think it's contrived. I think it's kind of genuine.
It does look spontaneous, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it does. And they look up. All 5 shadows of the people who are casting the shadows look like, what am I trying to say here? Look like they're very comfortable in their bodies, very comfortable moving their bodies. You know how sometimes you see somebody on the dance floor and they are just, there's like no space.
Inhibited. They're inhibited a little bit. They're not just kind of letting it go. It's almost as if they were hanging out somewhere outside and somebody had a Bluetooth speaker and their phone and started playing some music. And it's like, oh yeah, all right then. And maybe I'm not going to say that they're being super serious about what they're doing. They're kind of goofing along with it, and just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a great song. I'm going to move to it. And you know,
It's
we
like they say, dance like nobody's watching.
pretty much so. But if it was somebody that was in a club on a dance floor, they wouldn't be moving like that. This is more of a let's
I,
exaggerate and have fun with it.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, because they've got enough space between each other. It's a cohesive, coherent group of people. They're all together and they know each other.
Yeah.
But
And they're cool with each other.
they're not
You're not
crowding each other's space.
nobody's going to judge the other one. And are you getting this? The shadow all the way over to the right almost looks as if it's like somebody that is taking a picture of the others.
I think so. I think so. This guy right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're a little bit turned. It looks like they're kind of have the
Yep.
camera up to the face.
Yeah.
This is such an old clipping from the newspaper, just where I found this, that it might well be an actual camera as opposed to an iPhone camera.
But hey, wait a minute. That's big now. 90s are back. You look at anybody that's in their low 20s, they are taking pictures with digital cameras, and many of them are getting them from their parents. It's kind of cool.
It's funny you should say that. Yeah, because my grandson found one in the bottom of the coat closet in our house and was like, oh, what's this thing? Yeah.
I hate myself for throwing them out. I was
Oh,
purging, and I
oh,
had a Nikon Cool Pix and a bunch of, and I was like, oh, I wish I still had that.
yeah. I
Mm,
know what you mean. All right, let me give you another one. This one might take a minute or two. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a person walking on the street here,
hmm.
and then someone who looks like they're actually looking into the window of a dollhouse, but it's actually a department store window with a huge photo in it.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's a completely different kind of feeling than the one we just looked at, isn't it?
But in many regards, it's got an element of art to it,
I agree. Yeah,
you
and the
know?
fact that the face is the only thing in the image that appears to be in full color, it's really just that the building is basically gray and black, and the guy is wearing a sort of black and white outfit, so there's no vivid color except for the photograph of
But
the
you
face.
you wonder with the man walking, it looks like a man from here walking by the the window, which has the image, what they're thinking.
Yes. And do you, as the viewer, feel seen by that woman who's looking out the window?
In some way, but from where I'm looking at it, she looks like she's looking to the side and not at me.
Yeah, yeah. Her gaze is not really directly at us, the viewer.
Yeah.
But
So it's not as creepy, but I get where you're going.
yeah, it's not quite as creepy. But what I'm kind of prompted to do as I notice that she's looking over there, I kind of want to turn my head and look to see what it is she's looking at over there.
Right? Hmm. It's a cool picture, you know?
Yeah. So there's a little bit of mystery here. There's a little bit of confusion of scale. So
Hmm.
some artwork that you might jump off from an image like this might be, how big is my feeling of disappointment compared to my feeling of satisfaction when I blah blah blah.
How do you mean that in regard to that picture?
Well, I mean, if I was really desperate to do something and it was promised to me that we would go and do this next Saturday, and then that person didn't follow through and I didn't get to do that thing, then my disappointment would be big. It would be filling up that whole window. And my sort of being okay would be pretty small because it's gotten squished a little bit by the disappointment. Or actually,
Hmm.
I could take it much less literally and just draw two caricatures of satisfaction and disappointment And in the moment, disappointment might be like a big grizzly monster, and satisfaction might be like a little small pillow.
With the dissatisfaction, could it even come as easy as just somebody looking to the side, just kind of somber, just like,
Absolutely. Yeah. And as a cartoonist, you probably got a lot of those little kind of facial expression changes down pat so that you could kind of boil them down to their essence and get them onto a face in just a few lines.
I thank you for saying that. I agree, and I I will look at people's expressions and they register with me, and I seek them out. And even like my friend Kevin, I haven't he moved years ago, but
Mhm.
I always remembered him. Whenever I see him, we catch up. He's got these expressions that are just like the way he does it. I can't even duplicate it, but he's expressing in a certain way. He's not like trying to be funny. It's a certain look. And maybe he's more exaggerated than other people. But it's fascinating when you're intentional of just watching people's expressions, you know?
Yeah. And have you been able to kind of condense that into a face sketch that kind of conveys that same impression?
Yes.
Awesome. I
Yes.
mean, even if it doesn't look like your friend looks, it's expressing the feeling like your friend expresses it.
Or being inspired by it.
Yeah.
I see it in my mind. It may not translate to the pen when you're and paper, and that's
Mhm.
okay as long as the feeling is conveyed.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So I'm going to put two next to each other that can give us a little comparison. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So let me just kind of see if I can scoot these over. The little thing is crooked here and I can't get it to quite. Nope,
Whoops.
whoop. It's all balanced until it's not.
I have a three-legged table in a podcast studio in the other room with
Uh-huh.
with a microphone on it. And what just happened there just happened during a podcast somebody was doing.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding. It all tipped over. Like, whoops.
All right. All right. So there's the one picture of trees.
Yep.
And then here is another picture of trees.
Hmm.
And the second one, the trunks seem bare, and there's a pretty hefty wave splashing up on the shore.
See, okay. Now, granted, I'm looking through a screen and a
Right.
Zoom, but I'm going to tell you what I'm interpreting here,
Tell me.
and it's going to look different because it's being transmitted.
Sure.
On the right, I have what looks like trees and or flowers, and I get spring. It's a spring little vibe going on there. When I look at
Yeah.
the picture on the left, this is what I see initially, and I'm still seeing it. It looks cold and snowy,
It
and
does.
what's almost like an icicle vibe from the top coming down, and that looks like snow in the
Right.
lower
Yeah.
third.
Yeah, where the wave is really splashing.
I am
Yeah.
not even getting a wave. To me, my brain is saying that's snow.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
colder picture. It could be snow on a lake, and the lake is all frozen in the foreground. But
That actually could be, you know what? I think you're right. Now that I'm looking at it closely, the water is here, and
yeah,
this is a snowbank, and that's another snowbank that's out of focus. So you nailed it.
I, I don't know if that's right. That's what I'm seeing, and the icicles look too long to be icicles, but I'm getting icicles, and maybe they're in the foreground.
That could be.
You
It
know?
could be. In fact, I got a photo from a brother who lives in the Chicago area the other day, and he was measuring the icicles coming down from his porch, and he had
Yep.
one that was longer than 4 feet and still hadn't let go of the gutter.
This is what I'm saying. It could be,
Exactly.
coming off a gutter. And I remember being as a kid, and when those icicles would hang, you would throw snowballs at them to break them off, and but then you'd be very careful walking near them because they're,
Yes,
could
that's
hurt.
right.
But you know what's interesting? I get a happy vibe from the spring flowery tree photo on the right. And while the one on the left is kind of a somber, it's nighttime, it's snowy, it's cold, I also get a feeling of fresh. It's a fresh snow. We're being
Oh, yeah.
cleansed.
Yeah. No, I feel that now that you're pointing it out.
And just the
And
reflection of
also,
light, in the snow.
I think the other thing that happens for me as I'm looking at them is the trees that have just the sparse kind of clumps of leaves on them in the colorful one.
Yep.
So they're not fully filled out yet, but that seems to be acting as a barrier between myself and the landscape behind them, which appears to include either mountains or water.
Mm.
I think mountains. So in some ways it says, well, you can come this far, but no farther. You can't go back here. Whereas this one sort of like, come on in and just
Mm.
explore what's here.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until you said it. And I love water, so I want to look at the one on the right and think that blue object is water. But I'm thinking more if it's a distant mountain and there's a, meadow or a hill before that, and then you have these
Yes.
trees, and we're both getting that call it the leaves aren't fully formed, and this is just early spring, especially when the leaves come out and they're not the full rich green color.
That's right. There's always that, few days there where that there's such a yellow hint to them, and there's such a sort of fuzz around
Yeah.
the tree
You know
canopy.
what's interesting? We don't even know if this is the right answer.
And you know what? It really doesn't matter
It
because
doesn't.
what we're really doing is pretty much we're adhering to something called visual strategy technique. When
Hmm.
you look at an image and you ask yourself, what is happening in this image? And then you ask yourself, what is making me think so? And that helps you to really see in a different way than we usually see when we're just sort of perusing whatever is in our environment. If we're really looking to respond to everything that is visible in this image, then that kind of strategy of saying, okay, what does it look like is happening here? Really allows you to kind of scan the whole picture, look at what happens to your energy when you look at this part versus that part. What connections do you have with spring leaves or with icicles falling? And it just kind of builds your relationship then to the image that you're looking at.
Do you do this? Because it sounded like you were describing this. You initially look at something, it registers in your mind as a something,
Mhm.
and then you go back for validation. Is that really what I'm looking at? That kind of thing.
That kind of thing. Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which for me is a pretty good life strategy to begin with because our minds are so in love with making meaning out of things as quick as we can that we often jump to conclusions. We make assumptions. This gets tricky in relationships because if somebody says something to us in a little certain tone of voice, we might decide they're being snarky and they have a bone to pick with us when they didn't have that intention at all. So
Hmm.
it's not a bad idea to take a step back when something, especially when something is sparking you, something has got a little bit of a zap to it, and go, what is making me think so?
Should you go with the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, it depends on what you're wanting to do. If you're, wanting to jump off from a warm-up image into some artwork of your own, I think it could be just as productive and creative to go with the first thing that comes to mind.
Hmm. Because to me, that's your intuition. That's really what's coming up for you. And then the logical side of your mind goes in like honestly, when I first saw that picture on the left, I was thinking to myself, well, it looks like. Now hold on there, Steve. Is that really what you're looking at? Is that and then when you said water, then I was like, well, and quite honestly, I'm not having it. I'm not getting water, and I'm sticking to the snow.
Well, and I think, as I was looking more closely, I haven't looked at it in quite a few years since I just pulled it out of an old file that I had, especially when I was doing groups. This kind of thing can be very handy because then
Hmm.
everyone in the group might have a different take on the image. And then it's really kind of cool to see what did everybody do with this place that started from the same place, from the same image.
Hmm. You have
And
another one
that's,
before we
yeah.
run
Let
out of
me
time?
see.
This is fun. And you know what I think that the most fun is
What's that?
hearing what you see in it. You know what I mean? Like there's no wrong answer here, but I see something, you see something. So
Right.
I love hearing what you're seeing because then I try to see, well, am I seeing it? Can I see it in a different way?
Yeah, and that, you know what, that is something that is a skill that we, I think, can only reach when we've reached some degree of maturity so that we can hold two ideas, two situations that could be conflicting or appear to be exclusive, but actually coexist.
Hmm.
Yes, there are trees and there are icicles. Yes, it's water and it's snow.
It could be both. I'm not saying no. I'm leaning more toward the snow and the icicles, but then there's a part of me questions, well, those are really long icicles. Where could this be? It could be in the foreground. You tell me what you see this time. I already have, this one seems to be an easier one, but what do you got?
Okay. Well, it's two kids on a magic carpet. It looks like they're going for a ride at night because these creatures in the sky are suggesting the star groupings. What word am I not thinking of?
Constellation?
Constellations, thank you. Yeah, and then it looks like maybe a half moon, or maybe it's a shooting star in the center with the dark and the light side on her face, and the little cityscape underneath them. So my sense is that, okay, the animal that they're facing in the sky is a wolf, apparently, or some sort of canine thing, or dragon, maybe it's could be breathing fire. You see something coming out of its jaws there, and there's a snake behind them,
Hmm.
both of which kind of suggest a little bit of danger, but they don't look afraid.
So I'm getting the exact same thing. They look more captivated than afraid.
I think that's a great word for it. Yes. Yeah.
And they're and so funny last night. I love listening to music at night lately. I've been doing it for
Hmm.
the last couple of months. I'll look at lyrics and things like that. And this, I brought up the song. It's a rock song from back in the day. Steppenwolf, Magic Carpet Ride.
Oh yeah, how about that?
Literally last night. So this is what I'm getting from that. And they're flying over a town. It looks like you know um, they could be two siblings, and it was just it was midnight, and the carpet materialized, and now they're flying over the little town, and they're experiencing all these things in the sky. But then again, those things in the sky could be constellations, like a Big Dipper, or in many cultures
Right.
they used to, oh, that's the dragon over there, and that's that over there, but they're seeing it in the real version of it, not just the stars.
But they're filling it out with their own imagined vision.
Yeah.
Like when you see Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, there's supposed to be big bears and little bears in the sky. So you have to really kind of sketch it out for yourself. Or Orion is another of my favorites that you can see when Orion's belt begins to show up at a certain time of year where we are. And you can kind of see the whole warrior if you let your imagination fill it in.
Hmm.
And that's just kind of a fun thing to do. That's how all those constellations got named with reference to something that someone imagined that was the basic kind of internal. skeleton for or
Mm.
scaffolding for.
This picture just feels good, you know,
I've always liked it. I've always liked it. It
right down to the detail on the carpet.
yeah, yep. The
You
little
know, it's an
fringe
that's an Afghan, isn't it? Now, there, Barbara.
could
I don't.
well
I'm
be.
making that up. I don't know.
It could well be. I like what I like are the little sort of motion lines here too.
Oh, you know, I didn't even see that, but yeah,
Yeah, they're
of the
very
carpet flexing as it's flying through the air.
exactly that really kind of gives you that sense of
Hmm.
just comfortable. It's not like a roller coaster. It's just like kind of
Yeah,
gliding along.
that was when I was drawing cartoons. That was one of my favorite things to add motion lines. You
Yeah,
know, because it's 2D. It's on a piece of paper, but you throw a couple of lines, you know, a couple of half circles behind somebody, and you can sense the motion of them moving forward or whatever.
absolutely. One of the funniest drawings my grandson did, one of my grandsons was really into drawing for a while, and he drew this character that was like the sun, so yellow face and sunglasses, and there's a boombox playing nearby, which has musical notes coming out of it, so it's on. But he's snapping his fingers, and there are little motion lines around
Yeah,
the fingers in both hands, and you just know what's happening. I'm like, how did he know to do that?
I was just gonna say that. It's
Yeah.
not like one of those common things where they, you know, somebody says,
Oh,
Here's how
no,
you do it." Yeah.
it's really not. I think he was maybe 6 or 7 when
Wow.
he was in that phase. So that's fun.
So cool. This is, I would love to do this again. It's like, it's, it makes you think, but also I love just hearing what you're seeing. And if we're not seeing the same thing, that's even fun too.
Yeah, and then also, I just want to put this last little bit in.
Sure.
If you're looking at the image of trees and really seeing icicles, there's a reason for that. There's a connection for you that is more personal or more meaningful, maybe, with icicles hanging off of an eave or the kind of day that it would be after a storm and the snow begins to melt and the icicles are dripping and getting longer and longer. I don't know what it might put you in mind of, but I would also say when something looks more like this than that to you, that you can just kind of stick with the what does it remind me of more as opposed to what is it actually a photo of? Because who cares?
So
It's what it puts you in mind of.
I'm processing that.
Okay.
And lately I've gotten into the point where I can just close my eyes, call it meditating for just a moment. It's just a split second. And what came up for me with what you just said with the icicles was peace.
Ah,
Was peace. And I don't know. I'm thinking back to being a kid, but just that feeling of after the snow and the quiet. There's quiet there.
yes, that's right.
Whereas nothing
Right.
wrong with that spring scene, but there's movement. Trees are going to be moving. You might even be inspired to do something. Well, I got to run through the field. I got to do something because it's a beautiful day. I don't want to waste it. But the other, now it's twilight. It's dark. And when a storm hits, there's, oh my God, how are we going to bread and milk? You know, what are we going to do? How are we going to get around? School's closed. All that.
Right, right.
The calm is over. There's the calm after the storm, and it's just a fresh, clean, peaceful moment. That's what's coming up for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I can really sort of feel that vibe as you talk about it. I mean, I'm sort of filling in my own details. And the sun's been out and it's pretty strong. So the snow on the roof has been melting, contributing to the long icicles. And you can hear the drip, drip, drip.
And it's a special time too because those icicles could be rock frozen. Daytime, they might have been dripping, depending on temperature, from the
Yeah.
sun. But now they're locked in, and we have them. There's no change going on here, and
Ah,
and
yeah.
there's safety in no change.
Yes.
Sometimes that's not a good thing. We're stuck and we don't move forward. But for this moment, there's peace and safety in those icicles are going to be there all night long until tomorrow sun comes out. They could drip, they could be gone, they could break.
There you go.
But
There
right
you go.
now, we're good. We're
Yeah.
peaceful and we're safe.
Yeah, I like that.
It sounds like I'm making that up, but I'm feeling it. Like I went back in my mind and what is it? What is it?
Yeah,
What am I feeling from that? And I
yeah.
never, I don't like winter, but you know what? I kind of like that one better than the other one because of the peace.
Yeah, I think it somehow or other, well, at least to both of us who grew up in, temperate climates where there was actually snow and ice in the winter, something a little bit more to connect to in that image.
Goes deeper than that, Barbara.
Oh, I'm sure.
There was no social media. There were no phones. There were nothing. There was icicles.
Yeah,
You made things with them.
yeah. Well, yeah, for me, what it is like an invitation to come out and play.
Yeah. But I'm not going to play yet because it's nighttime. So it's a peaceful, quiet,
Yeah,
tomorrow's another day.
yeah. And it's probably going to be a snow day, so we won't have to go to school.
Then there's that.
Then
Wow.
there's that.
So interesting. When you really start thinking about it and what you feel from it, it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And notice, as we've been talking about it, our own inner feeling states have changed along with what we've been focusing on in our language about it.
But what came up for me was being a kid and not the play part. I just walked outside. It's dark now, and I just want to, what do we got going out here? The plows come, and seeing the icicles, and it actually transported me back. I see the gutter in front of the house, and
Yes.
where the icicles would drip
Yeah.
from.
And that's, I think, an essence of childhood is that our job as kids, young kids especially, is just to pay attention around us and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like everything we're looking at is a physics lesson in some way.
Well, guess what's missing from adulthood? That.
That's exactly what's missing from adulthood. And
Yeah.
that is a real invitation to creativity. So we'll talk more about play and its link to creativity in another session.
I love it. How do we find you? This is what you do. You inspire others and go a little deep, but in a fun way. How do we do that?
So you can look at my art therapy website, which is robertsonarttherapyllc.com, just all strung together, no punctuation in there. Or you can email me at brobertson.atr@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear any feedback or any questions that you might have about something that we've talked about in a session, an episode. Feel free to reach out.
And they're telling me that we have somebody sent something in and we didn't have time to print it out to show it up here. So we're getting that next time. Instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. If you want to share something, be it a thought or picture, painting, drawing, whatever it might be, we won't pick it apart. We won't judge.
No. We give you our word. We absolutely respect it. However it is exactly how it's supposed to be because you made it. Whoever made it.
100%.
I always respect that. It's the bottom line. Okay.
And there's a lesson in it from all of us because you'll see something, I'll see something, and that's the beauty in it. Thanks.
That's right.
Thanks for being here today. I always appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. Take care.
We'll talk soon. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.